So the length of the side of this square, of one of the sides, is x. So can you tell me the area of this square? X squared, right? Everybody okay with that? Tell me about the area of this. How long is it? X. This is 1. This length right here is 1. We're going to call it 1. So what's the area of this? 1x or just x, right? So if I ask you for an algebraic representation of this, what would you say? X squared plus 1x, or x squared plus x, right? What about this? X squared plus 3x, okay? What about this? X squared plus 4x. X squared plus 6x. So let's say I want to make a square out of this. So I can start with this square that I'm given, right? What do you think I would do with these green ones? Oh, just like put them together like this? I can't put it on top of it. That's against the rules. No. We're not making a level. We're not making multiple levels. We're not trying to get volume. We're still trying to get area. So can I get a square this way? No. What about this way? So you want me to put some on the side up here and some down on the side down here? Okay. So is that a square? No, but it's close, right? What's left? What's missing? This part down here, right? So how many of these would I have to add down there to actually complete the square? 9. How do you know that? It's a 3 by 3 space down here that I'll have to fill in, right? Okay. So what about if I added 2 more to the mix? And so you had 8 total. What would I do? How would I make my square? Same kind of way? Put these down here and put these over here? What would I have to do? Oh, 16 of the little ones right down here? You okay with that? Yeah. What if there was only 4 to start with? So it would be 4, right? So if you know how many of the green rectangles you have, how do you figure out like what to do with them? So when there was 6, what did I do? I put 3 on this side and I put 3 on this side. So how is 3 related to 6? Did that work every time? Did we take half every time? Because if there was 8, what did I do? I put 4 and 4, right? So I took half of my x's and put them on the side and half of my x's and put them on the bottom. So how did I figure out how many little baby ones like this I had to put? I multiplied, what? So I have 8 right here, and I split it into 4 parts, and then what did I do? So is there another mathematical way we can say 4 times 4? Oh, 4 squared. So I took the number of x's that I had, and I did what to them? I divided them in half. And then what did I do with that number to find out the ones? I squared it. So this thing is called an area model, where we actually use physical objects to create a square or to complete a square. You okay with that? So for those of you who are visual learners like I am, I always think back to this when I'm completing my square. I'm actually physically trying to make a square. If you're not a visual learner, this is not hurting you one bit. You're like, oh, we get to play with toys today? No. Sorry. Okay? But does everybody get the idea right here? Because we're about to go straight to the algebra, and if you get the area model, the algebra is going to be a lot simpler. You okay with that? Okay. I'll put these away. Let me ask you this question. x squared plus 6x. What did you tell me I did with the x terms? So what's half of 6? And then what did I do with that number? Boom. That's a complete square. It's a perfect squared trinomial. What if it was this? X squared plus 10x. What's the action? Don't tell me the answer yet. Just tell me the actions. Divide this by 2 and square it. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 5 squared is? Perfect. What about this? X squared plus 7x. Ugh. So don't make this too hard. Don't make it any harder than it has to be. What is 7 divided by 2? 7 halves. Right? What's 7 halves squared? 7 halves. How do we square fractions? So square the numerator and square the denominator. 49 over 4. Done. What about this? X squared plus x. What do you think? Oh, so this is a 1. So what's half of 1? Half squared? If I have a fraction, how do I square it? Square the numerator, square the denominator. Plus 1/4. Right. What about this one? X squared minus 8x. Uh-oh. Now what? Can't you just divide it by 2? What is negative 8 divided by 2? What's negative 4 squared? Positive 16. Oh, good observation. Will we ever subtract anything right here? No, because I'll always have just squared it, right? Anytime I square something, I'm going to get a positive. Absolutely. One more. X squared minus 12x. Plus 36. Good. So right here we have 6 perfect squared trinomials. Okay? Now I need to teach you a new step from these perfect square trinomials. I need to factor them. So start back at the first one up here. How do I factor this one? 3 and 3, right? X plus 3, x plus 3. So like x plus 3, x plus 3. Man, there has to be a shorter way to write that. That's so long to write. Oh, okay. X plus 3 squared. Well, how would I factor this one? X plus 5 squared? Well, I thought when we factored, we said what two numbers multiply to be the last one and add to be the middle. Because we can do that because of the shortcut, right? So what are the two numbers that multiply to be 25 and add to be 10? 5 and 5. What are two numbers that multiply to be 9 and add to be 6? Ooh. Did we do that on purpose? Oh, we did, right? When we created our perfect square trinomial, we're going to get a binomial that's squared when we go to factor it. That's why we did that. It was on purpose. Okay? What about this one? X squared minus 8x plus 16. What does its binomial look like? X minus 4 squared. What about this one? Oh, hold on. I'm waiting. Right here? Okay. So if we add negative 4 and negative 4, we do get negative 8. So, wait a second. Where is this number coming from? So that's one place it can come from. I can take the middle term and divide it by 2. What's the other place it can come from? Square root the last number. And then that's the whole third place that it can come from, right? We can say what multiplies to be 16 and adds to be -8, kind of like we're used to with factoring. So there's like 3 different ways we can get our answer here, right? So what about this one then? Let's go back here. X minus 6 squared. We got to do the fractions. I didn't intend on just completely skipping them. We got to go back. I know, you'll be okay. 7/2 squared. Everybody okay with that? I either divide this in half and then get 7/2, or I square root this. What's the square root of 49? 7, what's the square root of 4? 2, same thing. X plus 1/2 squared. That's exactly right. It's either half of this one or it's a square root of this one. Did I lose her? Okay. She's not been gone. Speaking of who's been gone. Okay, so now I have to teach you how to do the problems. But see, you already know how to do all the steps. Now we got to put them all together. Fair enough? Okay, so here's what a problem is going to look like. X squared plus 8x plus 10 equals 0. Did a fairy just get its wings? Okay, okay. That's a Christmas bell. This is still November. So it was a fairy that got its wings. Oh no. First of all, you would try to factor this, wouldn't you? Because that's what we've been doing lately, right? Okay, so tell me what multiplies to be 10 and adds to be 8. Nothing that I can think of, right? So I want to try to complete my square. I want to do like this. I want to complete my perfect square trinomial, right? Complete my square. That stupid 10 is in the way. I'm sorry I said stupid. Everybody just looked at me like I was some sort of creep for saying stupid. I'm sorry. Okay, that darn 10 is in the way. What do I do with it? Move it. Move it to the other side. We subtract 10 from both sides. So I have x squared plus 8x. I know I'm going to fill in a place right here, so I'm going to give myself a blank. Because I don't like to leave blanks. Do you guys like to leave blanks? So I give myself a blank. So what goes in that blank? 16? And how do you know that? Well, I mean, we did it right up here, but that's a different story, right? We could say, what's 8 divided by 2? 4 and 4 squared. Could I have already put the plus sign right here? I could have, right? Because we talked about that a minute ago. Except now, guys, I've completely changed the problem. That's exactly what I have to do. So, like, in all honesty, when I'm doing these problems, I give myself a blank here, and I also give myself a blank over here so that I don't forget to do that. Plus 16. Well, eventually, yeah. What happens on the left-hand side? I have my trinomial. What do I want? I want my binomial. What is my binomial? X plus 4 squared equals 6. Oh my gosh, it's a good thing we did problems like this just the other day. How do I solve this? I'm still trying to solve for x, right? Square root both sides. Oh yeah. What's the square root of the left-hand side? X plus 4. Make me happy. Make me happy. Think about it before you answer. What do I get on the right-hand side? What do I get? Oh, good. Plus or minus the square root of 6. Because I don't know the square root of 6. And I'm not going to act like a little baby and just run to my security blanket calculator every time there's something I don't know. we can leave it as square root of 6, and that is perfectly fine. Okay? There'll be times in the future that we need to know exactly what the square root of 6 is, and our security blanket calculator will help us out. But we don't need to go there too early. Okay? We don't need to go there too early. Leave it as the square root of 6. But, as we pointed out, it does have to be plus or minus, because who put the radical in the problem? We did, so we have to have the plus or minus. What's left to do to solve for x? How? How would I get rid of the 4? Okay, so minus 4. X equals negative 4 plus or minus square root of 6. Done. Yes, please write that down. Got it? Now, you know, since I did that first, it's probably one of the easier ones, right? Just going to ease us into this problem. So how about another one? Okay. X squared plus 6x plus 40 equals 0. Whoop, sorry. Is there anything that multiplies to be 40 that adds to be 6? No. So, move the 40. So I have x squared plus 6x, I give myself a blank, equals negative 40, and another blank. Now, for the record, do you have to have the blanks? No. That's just something I do to help myself. If you want to do it, great. If you don't want to do it, fine. Okay? So tell me what's going to go in the blank. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. Both places, right? Okay, so what's my binomial? X plus 3. What is equals what? Negative 31. Okay, square root both sides. X plus 3 equals, plus or minus the square root of negative 31. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what we did yesterday. Oh, yes it is. So what do? I got to subtract 3. I'm doing 2 steps at once, aren't I? Negative 3 plus or minus what? I can't leave that negative inside, can I? What comes out? What's the square root of negative 1? I. Square roots of 31. Because I don't know 31, do I? I don't know the square root of 31. And I don't know anything inside that divides into 31 that I know the square root of, do I? Okay. Questions? So if it happened to be like negative 9, what are you going to take out instead? 3i. Absolutely. Do all the steps that we would have yesterday. If it was the square root of negative 12, I wouldn't just take out an I, would I? You still need the positive and negative because we put the root sign in there, so we've got to have the negative sign there. Okay? Now, before we go on too much further, does everybody see that I still have 2 solutions here? What's one of my solutions? My first solution is exactly negative 3 plus I root 31. What's my other solution? Negative 3 minus I root 31. Good. Questions? Okay. I do want to do at least one more for you. I don't want to do that one. Let's do this one. So, why are you woeing me? As if I was a horse. Yeah, it's not like any of the problems we've done, is it? Every single problem we've done so far. Because what's true about every single x squared problem that we've done already? It's only 1. Here's what the deal is, guys. You can only do completing the square when that leading coefficient is 1. If it's not 1, you have to make it 1. I actually want to divide by 2 first. Okay? Divide every single part of the problem by 2. So I have 2x squared divided by 2, and I get x squared. I have 12x divided by 2, and I get 6x. I have negative 14 divided by 2, and I get minus 7 equals 0. Now tell me what you want to do. Add 7. Okay. Add 7. X squared plus 6x equals 7. So what's going to go in the blank? 9. I should have done another number. Sorry about that. What's my binomial? X plus 3 squared equals 16. And then square root both sides. Left hand side plus 3, right hand side positive or negative 4. Wait, ooh, that was cool.
So if it was a negative 16, it would be positive
4i, right.
4i.
Yeah, if this happened to be a negative 16 right here, it would be plus or minus 4i. So when I subtract 3, I would like to caution you, okay? Because you know what I heard earlier, that the answer was right here? Plus or minus 1. There's no i's involved here, because I didn't have a negative inside my root. But do you see where they might have thought the answer was plus or minus 1? Because they just took whatever that number was and subtracted 3 and kept the plus or minus. Does it work that way? No, you have to be real careful about that, okay? Because you have to start with 4. 4 minus 3. That is 1, okay? But what's negative 4 minus 3? Negative 7. It's not negative 1, is it? So please be careful of that, okay? Questions? I feel like I should do one with a fraction in it because I know there's at least one in your homework with that. You want to see one? Okay. X squared minus 7x minus 10 equals 0. So what do I do first? Add 10. X squared minus 7x equals 10. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put the blanks. Sorry. So what goes in the blanks? 49 over 4, right? Take the 7 divided by 2 and then square it. So 49 over 4. 49 over 4. So what's my binomial? 7/2? Is that what you said? 7/2? Hold on just a second. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I said 7 divided by 2, and then I squared that. When you square a fraction, you square the numerator and square the denominator. 7 squared is 49, 2 squared is 4. Okay? But what goes in the binomial? 7/2. Yes, that sounds much better than 7/2. It's okay. Made me laugh. Equals what? What do I have to add in order to add fractions? Common denominator, right? 10 is the same as what over 4? 40 over 4. What's 40 over 4 plus 49 over 4? 89 over 4. How do I solve? Square root both sides. X minus 7/2 equals. So here's something weird, right? I've got 89 well, 89 over 4, and I'm taking the square root of it. Remember when we square root fractions, aren't I taking the square root of the top and dividing it by the square root of the bottom? Do I know one of those? I know 4, don't I? So why did I put 84 again? That's so weird. Isn't that really the same as square root of 89 over 2? You okay with that? So this is the square root of 89 over 2. So why is my answer wrong? Yeah, I forgot my positive or negative. Plus or minus. So what do I have left to do to solve for x? Add 7/2 to both sides. X equals 7/2 plus or minus the square root of 89 over 2. Now please notice that I was real careful to be very clear that my square root of 89, the square root is just in the numerator. You know what I'm saying? It's not over the whole fraction like this one is. It's just in the numerator. How you feeling about this? Good? Okay, what are you going to do if you have questions? Come and ask during class or tutorials, right? Any more questions? Peace.